Welcome, my children. I am Osmund Saddler, the speaker for our Lord.
Now, Sadler definitely got a lot more screen time in the original game, and he had more dialogue as well. But despite getting less time to shine in the remake, I still think that he is better in it, due to several reasons, which all add up to the same result. He was just put to better use in the remake, and he was both better designed and a better character in it. Design-wise, in the original game, he was basically just a normal looking man, other than having sharp nails. There was nothing notable about him, even once he took off his hood. In the remake, however, his hood is removed almost immediately to reveal a twisted and bizarre visage, thanks to the horrific spikes growing behind his head. This new design makes him more memorable and terrifying. Even his face is now more menacing and filled with insanity. Character-wise, he was cheesy and kind of goofy in the original game, since he cracked a few too many jokes. He said that he wanted to get money in exchange for Ashley, since running a cult is not cheap, and he had a personal vendetta and grudge against the US.
To demonstrate to the whole world our astounding power, of course. No longer will the United States think they can police the world forever. So, we kidnapped the president's daughter in order to give her our power, and then send her back. We just planted her a little gift. Oh, there's going to be one hell of a party when she returns home to her loving father. But before that, I thought I might bargain with the president for some donation. Believe it or not, it takes quite a lot of money to keep this church up and running.
He felt, ironically, like a cliché bad guy. One oozing with the exaggerated and cartoonish charm that permeated the original game. It was, honestly, difficult to take him seriously. However, in the remake, he is purely and simply evil. A madman driven to insanity by the power he wields. An egotistical psychopath with delusions of grandeur. Of being a god that controls everyone and everything, and one who believes that he is right. That his goal is something he very much deserves and is entitled to. He even calls it a humble wish.
What do you want? I simply wish to share this gift with as many as possible. A humble wish, don't you think?
The way he thinks, talks, looks, sounds, and acts just strikes fear in a way that his original incarnation never could. He truly feels like the face and the heart of something absolutely and completely evil. He really feels like the main antagonist. This is all made even more apparent by the fact that he gets to show more emotion. He gets to be more expressive, which gives more weight and character to everything he says and does.
Ah, yes, the time has come for this lamb to join our covenant. Oh, blessings unto him and the sweet mercy they bring. Exalt all and let it be done.
So, tone and character-wise, he is just vastly different in both versions. And this is perhaps best illustrated by what he says just before he transforms for his boss fight.
What's so funny?
Oh, I think you know. The American prevailing is a cliché that only happens in your Hollywood movies. Oh, Mr. Kennedy, you entertain me. To show my appreciation, I will help you awaken from your world of clichés.
You are renegade. You have forsaken only body. The bright gift to become one with us.
In the original, he is just way too chill, laid back, and too much of a joker to be considered scary or evil. But in the remake, he most certainly feels like a menace. He commands fear, respect, and to be taken seriously. Now you could argue that his original incarnation was more unique and refreshing, since he was different than the norm. The insane and maniacal cult leader has been done a lot, so it's definitely a less inspired way of depicting Sadler. His OG self is perhaps more memorable and better because it is such a departure from what is normal and expected. However, since this is a horror game and not a Saturday morning cartoon, I would argue that having the main villain be an over-the-top madman filled with insanity and with delusions of grandeur that strikes fear is the better and more fitting take. But regardless of which version of Sadler you like the best, there is no denying that they are both great, and that the remake deserves praise for such a vastly different approach that not only makes it feel like a breath of fresh air, as in it's not the same thing again, but it also fits the genre, the type of character, and these modern times a lot better. Honestly, the only problem Sadler has in the remake is that he does not get more screen time. Additionally, his power and control over Las Plagas is shown much more convincingly in the remake, with him forcing Ashley to almost kill Leon not once, but twice. He also keeps Leon from moving several times, and both Leon and Ashley get to have Sadler talk to them directly from inside their minds, with Leon even seeing hallucinations at one point due to Sadler's influence. Sadler also visibly commands the ganado remotely. Also in the original, he apparently did not know that Leon had removed Las Plagas until he tried to manipulate him, prompting Leon to taunt him by saying that said trick is getting old.
Better try a new trick, cause that one's getting old.
This just made Sadler feel like a fool, and it undermined his status as the controller of Las Plagas. In the remake, this is wisely cut. And the Sadler just knows by feeling that Leon no longer has Las Plagas within him. And he actively berates him for denying grace. He even offers to bless him once more if he kneels before him.
You have forsaken holy body. The bright dirt to become one with us.
Such blasphemous desecration, such unforgivable heresy. Yet, is it not the sinner who is most in need of salvation? Kneel before your honor for his child and submit once more with the holy body.
This is a much better turn of events that only reinforces the improvements made to Sadler. All these things make him truly feel like the mastermind, the one in control, the one pulling the strings, while also making him feel more powerful, nefarious, and dangerous. Finally, his boss fight is better in the remake. He looks more menacing. He can now summon a swarm of Nobistadors from atop a big platform, which is so epic, and it sells the fact that he is the ruler of Las Plagas and its subjects.
Dreadful disciples assemble! Besiege! Do not let them escape!
He also talks during the fight, unlike in the original game, thus adding more depth to his character, especially since he talks about his ambitious plan of uniting the entire world under one god, him. It's the classic bad guy monologue, but delivered during the fight instead of before. His exposition is even better because his voice becomes more and more distorted as the fight goes on, until he is left just wailing, thus showing that he loses more and more of his sanity until he is just a mindless monster.
My flock! It is time to shed the one! By flesh! From your blood to a gold everlasting!
He is also just a lot more mobile and deadly, thus making the battle more intense and more difficult. Lastly, unlike in the original game, the fight ends with Sadler morphing into this crazy bundle of tentacles, which is then when you have to deliver the final strike with the special rocket launcher, which leads to a cutscene where Leon delivers the true final strike by straight up impaling Sadler with his own staff while delivering a classic action movie one-liner.
I'll give you a holy body.
This is just a more climactic and awesome way to end the final battle.